welcome all to another edition of Rod's Tabletop Hoops. Without getting into any discussion, we are going to open up a package of Wayne Wiskow's 50th anniversary edition of Computer Basketball. Let's get into it. Right, we got the top cover off. What do we got underneath? And there you have it, Wayne Wiskow, from Illinois to Gresham, Oregon. A nice looking box, very reminiscent of the original. And there you have it. One of the finest boxes in the hobby. Let's take a look at some of the materials inside the box. Oh, so nice, so clean. Here we have all the original charts. I think there's been some modifications to the charts. Obviously, it's not original typewriter style type from the 1970 or 71 season. We have a defensive challenges by the guard, forward, and center, and I believe they include a few more items, including offensive fouls, steals, fouls, the usual double dribble over and back, palming type things from the original game, but it looks like it's been upgraded just a little bit, and I think that is a sign that he's really trying to add a few more stats to the game. We also have the injury chart right over here. So that is board number one. You can probably put that up a certain way, and you can display that while you play the game. And we got some new 4 12-minute quarters. There's your game clock. Looks relatively similar. 10-minute increments for the game box here. Your offense and defensive cards go there. A lot of the original instructions have changed quite a bit. Thank you for your interest in computer basketball. And so we got seasons from 70-71 through 72-73. And it says, unfortunately, I was unable to complete the changes for 71-72 in time to include in this mailing. I did not want to delay getting the seasons. He will send the 71-72 cards as soon as they are available. I estimate they will be mailed in August. Everything's running a little bit late due to some health issues with Wayne Wiskow as well, so that's an interesting note. And it talks about his medical issues, and it looks like he's doing well, and that's great news. So these are rosters of the original players. 3, 6. Yep, looks like 10-man rosters as before. 70-71 roster. And retyped up rules for the game, the setup, all that fun stuff. Games play, the jump ball chart. You got all kinds of great stuff, a little sampling there. Just looks modernized. 50 years newer and modernized, 50 plus years. So he's got fouls and technical fouls. A lot of the fouling rules changed between 71 and 73. And once again, this is where you put your offensive and defensive charts. Let's see what we got here. A whole plethora of cards, a new set of dice. I believe these D10s are used for free throws now instead of some original shot cards from 1 through 25. The cards look a little bit different. They've been retyped up, modernized, if you will. There's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with the $73. Got all of his stats on the cards, and that's pretty darn cool in itself. A, B, C, and D columns. Obviously, the guarded, unguarded, inside and outside shots that were typical of the original game. So we got Cavaliers, Philadelphia, one of the worst teams in league history at 9 wins. And there's my Portland Trailblazers of 73. They weren't that much better. Celtics were fantastic. But those are player cards. We've also got ourselves team offense and defensive cards. Those will go into the slots right here, depending on what you're doing. There's regular defense and probably a pressing defense, I imagine, on the back. Yes, sirree. That's the Atlanta Hawks. This is the 70-71 selection of cards. And that's a lot of cards because I guess it's 17 teams, offensive and defensive cards. That's at least 34 cards in this little deck right here. The other set of cards will be right here, the Atlanta Hawks 72-73. So they're just done in alphabetical order. Seattle Supersonics as well. So we have a whole box of cards for each of the 2 seasons provided. And that's what it looks like under the hood. Computer Basketball 50th Anniversary Edition by Wayne Wiskow. Just continuing my sorting through Wayne Wiskow's computer basketball cards. Each team came with a rubber band. I'm kind of pulling the rubber bands off and just slowly, methodically looking at the cards themselves. This one I have featured right here is the 72-73 Kings and the star of the league. Nate Tiny Archibald at 6'1", led the league in assists and scoring. That's truly a rare feat, 34.0 per game. But anyway, this is what his card looks like. As Wayne Wiskow said, he's done some modifications in an effort to make the cards more accurate. And that's basically reflecting foul drawing, field goal shooting percentage, and probably the amount of shots players get. So anyway, had to feature the Nate Archibald card. He's on the 72-73 Kings. And there's Big Sam Lacey as well. Mike Ratliff, young Mike Ratliff, Nate Williams, Don Kogis, Matty Gukas, Ron Riley off the bench, and Jumpin' Johnny Green. So I believe the Kings were in the Midwest Division. I'm just looking at teams as I pull the rubber bands off. I've just came across Pistol Pete Maravich's rookie with the Atlanta Hawks of 1970-71. This team did drop a number of games from their prior season of 69-70, so Pistol was not beneficial in the one-loss department, and even though he probably drew a lot of fans to his games as a rookie, much like a Caitlin Clark is doing today in the WNBA. Here's Jerry Chambers. Where are the stars? There's Bill Bridges. And I just want to say the card stock is pretty good on these things. They're very solid. The print is very clear and relatively big, which is great for people that are trying to play games with these cards and aging eyes. John Valerie, I think he was a UCLA guy. Walt Hazard, UCLA for certain. A very good player, 2,877 minutes. Len Chappell, good backup, big man. And Lou Hudson. Sweet Lou, 1-on-1, which is the best rating on defense. Once again, they're going to the automatic 10-sided die for free throws. That's 1-76 made for Sweet Lou. Walt Bellamy, 1-60. Obviously not as good a foul shooter, but heck of a rebounder at 36. How does that compare with Lou Alcindor? Lou is a 40. So there's Bells helping that team out. Bob Christian, and there you go. 70-71 Atlanta Hawks. What else do we got here? We got the 70-71 rookie Tiny Archibald with the Royals. And so 16.0. It's not 34.0, but once again, I think this team coached by Bob Cousy had a number of point guards. They had Norm Van Leer they had acquired. And he was 16.0 as well. Flynn Robinson, an offensive-minded guard, 13.3. And there's Jumpin' Johnny Green again, Tom Van Arsdale, and Daryl Imhoff. And I believe they were in the Midwest for 70-71. We've also got the Golden State Warriors of 72-73. And they're led by, of course, Nate the Great Thurmond. Rick Barry did make a return in 72-73, so let's see what he does. 38 rebounds. There's Rick. 1-90 on the free throws, 23 on the boards, which is pretty solid for him. Defense is a 2, and Nate's a defensive 1, which that makes entire sense. So at least Rick Barry didn't get hosed on defensive rating like they did in some other games. And that's the Warriors of 73. And I have all my 73s over here. I'm going to put the Warriors kind of like that. And there's Pacific, Midwest, Atlantic, and Central. Pacific, Midwest. I got the Midwest toward the center of my pile here, so it's a little confusing. Moving on to the 70-71 Seattle Supersonics. Player coach Lenny Wilkins leads the team. Gar Hurd, a young Gar Hurd. Thomas Sherry, Barry Clemens, Don Kogis, and Spencer Haywood, who came on late. He decided to abandon his Denver Rockets of 69-70, held out, and eventually jumped leagues with no restrictions, even though he broke contract with the Denver Rockets. It seems if you wanted to jump from the ABA to the NBA, there's a penalty, but if you jump from there's no penalty. If you jump from the NBA to the ABA, you could be subject to a sit-out season, which really harmed a number of players' careers. So there's Spencer. Spencer in 73, far more established. Let's take a look at him really quick. That's 29.2 a game, and he played 259 minutes. So that Spencer is basically a superstar versus the mid-season or late-season pickup in 70-71. Moving on to the 70-71 Suns, Connie Hawkins' second season in the NBA after a short ABA stint of 2 seasons. The Hawk did drop to about 20.9, not as good as his rookie year, but nonetheless a solid season for the Hawk. And the original Sun, Dick Van Arsdale. Let's look for one more star. They've got a lot of scorers. Paul Silas, great rebounder. Neil Walk answered that trivia question, who did the Suns get in the Alcindor draft? It was Neil Walk. Mel Counts. Lamar Green, who seemed to have a very long career in Phoenix considering he was a very limited offensive player. Fred Taylor, Clem Haskins, Connie the Hawk Hawkins. And there they go. What do we got here? We got 72-73 Buffalo in their 3rd season, and they finally past the Blazers decided not to draft Bob McAdoo, but instead picked LaRue Martin. And McAdoo allegedly was going to the ABA, but signed with the Buffalo Braves instead, so the Blazers got hosed on that one. Rookie Bob McAdoo, Hall of Famer, 3-time scoring champ. No sour grapes there. Here we go. Bob Love, 70-71. Chicago Bulls just coming into their own. Tom Bowerwinkle, Chet the Jet had come over from Philadelphia. What a steal of a deal was that. Many people say losing Chet wasn't the final nail in the coffin after Chamberlain left, Walker left, Cunningham soon followed, and the Sixers had a horrendous 1973 year. So here's the Bulls of 71. Oh, Johnny Baum and Matt Gukas again. What do we got over here? We got the 73 Knicks, the NBA champs of 72-73, including Walt Frazier, top-rated defender, great foul shooter. Jerry Lucas, a fantastic trade to get him on the team. And they rate him a 1 on defense at center, which is the best you can be. Dick Barnett just got into the NBA, the Basketball Hall of Fame, after many years of sitting on the sidelines. He's in his 80s. Willis Reed, the captain, didn't have his greatest year, but he actually logged 1,876 minutes, which is a lot compared to what he did in 1972, where he played probably 10 games or 11. Dean the Dream, defensive specialist, I gave him a 2. Earl the Pearl got a 2. Bill Jackson, a fouling machine, got a 4. And Bill Bradley, Dollar Bill, got a 2. So there's your 73 champion Knicks. We move on to the Atlanta Hawks of 73. There's Pistol in year number 3. Looks like the font got changed on that a little bit. A little inconsistency there, but that's okay. It's still very readable. John Wetzel. I believe this team's still somewhat similar to the 71 team, but they still had Walt Bellamy, that's for sure. And Sweet Lou, still playing solid defense, 1 at guard and forward. That's valuable. All right, 73 Celtics. Johnny Hondo Havlicek with a 1 at forward and guard. That's solid. Always dependable, John Havlicek. Silas, not a scorer. 13 threes, not bad, though. He also grabbed over 1,000 rebounds. Paul Westphal, close to his rookie year. I don't remember if he played in 72 as well. Steve Kaburski played a long time with the Celtics, despite not really being that great a player. Hank Finkel, kind of the Greg Kite of the 1970s for the Celtics. And Dave Cowens, Rookie of the Year in 71, tied with Jeff Petrie, and an MVP in either 72 or 73. Can't remember. Art Williams, point guard. Passing doesn't get a ton of emphasis in this game. I did make some modified charts in the other game to make assists more of a thing, so we'll see how that game plays out, and if I need to add that, I will. There's Don Nelson and the late and great JoJo White, in addition to Donald Duck Cheney. This team won 68 games. Ran into the Knicks, and the injured Havlicek did not help the Celtics of 73. Here's the 73 Trailblazers. All you needed to see is Jeff Petrie, a fantastic shooter. Terry Dissinger became a dentist. He studied dentistry while he was in the NBA. Became a long-time dentist. He just passed away, I think, in the past few months. Sidney Wicks, UCLA, Rookie of the Year in 72. And Larry Steele, very underrated swingman. Shows him only as a guard. He actually played some forward in his later years. And Rick Adelman, longtime coach. This team was not very good, however, overall. Moving on to the 76ers of 1973, you can get 9 wins and 73 losses. This team is going to struggle. Leroy Ellis is probably one of their few dependable players. They probably have Freddie Carter. There's Freddie Boyd of Oregon State. Hal Greer in his final season only averaged 5.6 per game. John Q. Trapp. Manny Leaks gets a 1 on defense. So that's pretty good at center. But he's not the greatest shooter at 40%. Dale Schluter. Kevin Lockery. Freddie Mad Dog Carter, 20 points a game. But an abysmal team. We wrap it up here with the Cleveland Cavaliers of 73. Lenny Wilkins doing some player coaching over in Cleveland. Let's leave that as is. Milwaukee Bucks of 73. This team came off a 71 title. 72, they got upset by the Warriors. 73, they were really good, but just ran into some trouble No, 73, maybe they got beat by the Warriors. Yeah, so anyway, great team, however. Championship caliber. Big O Oscar, I think he might have missed a few games during the 73 season. Came back for the playoffs pretty well, though. Dick Cunningham. Mickey Davis, brother of Brad. Curtis Perry. Chuck Terry. And Bobby D, Hall of Famer in the last year or two. Great small forward. And I'm looking at my teams. I'm thinking that I might have put one team that did not belong in the 73. Did the Suns? Oh, there's the Kings. Kings of 73. They go in the Midwest and not the Pacific. So other than that, I'm a little short here in the 70-71 division. Who am I missing? Could it be the Houston Rockets, perhaps? Let's take a look. All right, problem solved. Actually, in 71, Cincinnati Royals were in the Central Division, not the Midwest, until they moved to the Midwest when they became the Kansas City Omaha Kings. The other change I had to make was the Phoenix Suns actually played in the Midwest Division until San Diego, the Rockets, moved to Houston, moved them all the way over to the Central Division, and that caused more shuffling around. Cincinnati probably became Kansas City, move over to the Midwest Division. So a little shuffling of divisions as the game developed here. Here are the 73 cards. I don't really need to sort those at all. That's the 73 offense and defensive team cards. And, of course, the 71 offense and defensive team cards right here. So there you have it. Those are the game parts for Computer Basketball by Wayne Wiskow. I'm very interested to see how this chart works out. It's similar to the original games chart, but I'm sure there's some modifications in there. I do see some higher ranges for steel numbers. They go 1 to 100 versus going 1 to 25 as in the past. So that'll be a change, and it looks like we might even have some differences there on the rebounding chart. There's also a missed free throw chart, which is always a necessity. I'm not sure if he thought about that when he created the original game. Nonetheless, the game box is as amazing as the first game box. The difference is you got the 50th anniversary logo. So I look forward to trying out Computer Basketball by Wayne Wiskow. The original game was very good. Hopefully he's made some improvements to the updated teams here. It sounds like the 71, 72 teams are just in process of being redone and will be sent to us as soon as Wayne is done with them. Just a lot of sorting, a lot of creating, and a lot of revising, it sounds like Wayne has to do. So anyway, that is all from Rod's Tabletop Hoops today. Happy gaming, everyone.